Have you ever found yourself thinking about the same person, idea, or task again and again until it felt like a loop you couldn't step out of? That feeling, urgent, magnetic, and a little terrifying, is where obsession begins. In the next minute, I'll show you the invisible forces that turn curiosity into fixation and why simply willing yourself to stop is rarely enough. Stay with me. The rest will make you see your own thoughts in a whole new light.
Before we judge it, let's define it. Obsession is persistent, intrusive thinking or craving that's hard to control. It's different from passion. Passion energizes and expands. Obsession narrows and repeats. I'll unpack the 3 signs that separate a harmless interest from something that hijacks your life. And by the end, you'll be able to spot the difference in seconds. Breaking an obsessive pattern isn't about willpower. It's about changing cues, responses, and meaning. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy and exposure and response prevention work because they retrain the brain. I'll outline the step-by-step logic behind these methods so you know what treatment actually does and why it succeeds when self-control often fails.
Here are concrete moves you can start tonight. Redesign your environment to remove triggers. Practice short delays before acting. Use simple mindfulness to interrupt automatic thought spirals. And enlist an accountability partner. I'll walk you through a 5-minute exercise that disrupts an obsessive thought in the moment. Try it when this video ends.
Obsessions tell us something important about our needs and fears, if we learn to listen without surrendering control. The goal isn't to squash desire, but to make it a choice instead of a dictator. If you take one thing away, let it be this. Awareness plus small designed changes can turn relentless fixation into focused, life-enhancing energy. If you want practical guides or a deeper dive into the science I mentioned, I'll point you to useful resources next.
Here's the surprising science. Obsession often rides the same neural pathways as reward and survival. Dopamine doesn't just reward pleasure, it also signals prediction and attention, which is why our brains chase certain thoughts or behaviors like a dog on a scent. I'll explain the key brain areas, think orbital frontal cortex and striatum, in plain English and show how they conspire to keep us stuck.
Why does a hobby sometimes turn into a need? The secret is in the schedule of rewards. Variable, unpredictable rewards, likes on social media, intermittent success, the rare compliment, are especially addictive. I'll walk you through an everyday example, so clear you'll start noticing the pattern around you immediately.
Obsession is rarely just cognitive. It's emotional gasoline poured on a spark. Fear, shame, loneliness, or boredom can make a thought inflate until it becomes a pressure that must be relieved. I'll reveal how emotional states act as intensifiers and give you one simple question to ask yourself when a fixation rises.
Some people seem wired to fall harder. Why? Traits like perfectionism, high sensitivity to threat, or impulsivity raise vulnerability. Attachment history matters too. Early relationships teach the brain how to seek safety and attention later on. Stick around, because next, I'll connect these traits to everyday scenarios you'll recognize instantly.
Modern life is the perfect ecosystem for obsession. Social media, celebrity culture, and real-time feedback loops were practically engineered to grab and hold attention. I'll show the design tricks platforms use to keep you coming back and give you a test to see if an app is shaping your mind more than you realize.
Not all obsession is destructive. Some of it fuels mastery. Consider athletes or artists who obsess over craft and reach extraordinary results. The difference is whether the focus enriches life or impoverishes it. I'll map 3 questions that help you decide which side you're on and how to tilt toward healthy obsession. At the extreme, obsession can wreck relationships, careers, and health. Obsessive-compulsive disorder and other clinical conditions are real, measurable, and treatable. not just quirks. I'll share a few cold, hard signs that something has crossed the line and when it's time to get professional help. This could change a life.
How do you know when a fixation is escalating? Look for narrowing priorities, increased secrecy, repeated failed attempts to stop, and emotional crashes when the object of obsession is denied. I'll give you a quick checklist you can use on yourself or a loved one, and a red flag that most people miss entirely.